we need to talk about solstice morning. What the tradition is on solstice morning. Cassie and Asriel take Reese away.
Yeah, and then
to a mountain where they decide to have a snowball fight.
Oh my God.
And I was like, where are they going? Because there's all that thing where she's like we're like seeing Freya's point of view and stuff like that, and she does that fight with Lucian, and we're like, oh, they've gone somewhere, right? Maybe they've gone like, something nice but
nope, they've just gone to be children.
Yeah, they didn't. I did not expect a snowball fight.
That's right. Hello and welcome to the Literary Labyrinth podcast. We are two sisters, one who reads fast
and one that reads slow.
Yes, and if you don't know us, my name is Leela.
My name is Linda.
And we've been doing this podcast for a wee while now, and at the moment we've been going through the ACOTAR series. So if you've been following us, thank you so much. We appreciate all the support that you've given to us, and please do tell your friends and other book lovers about us. We really appreciate the support. But if you're new here, welcome on in. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you for many more episodes. So the last book we were talking about was A Court of Wings and Ruin. So we finished that last week. So this week, naturally, we have moved on to the next book, which is this one.
Frost and Starlight, number 4, or I don't know. Some people don't count it as 4. They call it as a novella.
Maybe it's like a 0.5. I'm calling it number 4, though, because it's just confusing if I don't. This is the 4th book in the series. And as you can see, it's a lot thinner than every single one.
Yeah.
So initially I was told this from, there was 2 different ways I could look at it. I was told, oh my God, this is such a waste of time. Or, it's important, extra details, so it's a nice reprieve. Or, it's just a really nice, sweet moment to take a breather from the insane moments that happened in Wings of Ruin. That's why. So there's different ways you can look at it. But of course, we have now read this book in its entirety. So we're going to talk about our thoughts and some points that happen. And I say those with a question mark.
What you thought? But
yeah. So without further ado, let's get stuck into our thoughts on this novella / 4th book, A Court of Frost and Starlight. Why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so we're actually going to go through all of this book because I actually read through it because it was small, and so we can go through the whole thing. But yeah, so we kind of laid off from like the Wings of Ruin, like Reese had died, but he'd come back alive. Everybody's so happy to be alive, and they've won the battle against Highburn. There were deaths, sad deaths. The dad died, and that's it.
If you want to know our opinion on all that stuff, you can listen to the last episode.
But yeah, they've gone through a hard time, and they're back in Valaris now, trying to mend these alliances, and that's what we get.
It was almost like ACOTAR does Christmas, right?
It was like, yeah, it's the Hallmark movie, Christmas Hallmark movie of Valaris, and I was a bit like, oh right, no, there must be some kind of battle, or there must be some kind of secret spy mission in it, like, because it's all to do with like, oh, the winter solstice is coming, and that's Freya's birthday. We need to celebrate it. This is what we do in the Winter Court. And I'm like, okay, so it's going to be that, but there's going to be some secret element or some spies. No, it's just about.
Well, do you know what? I wasn't even thinking it was going to be about a battle or a spy thing. I was just thinking it's probably like the aftermath of how everyone is dealing, which it is to an extent, but that you kind of get an insight into the other characters, like deep insight where you're like, oh, shoot, that's how they're feeling. Like, not Farah and Reese. Like, it's fine to have them at the start, but then we go into the other characters, because obviously there are chapters within this book that are from Moore's perspective or Cassian's perspective. And one teeny one of Nesta's. Which frustrated the crap out of me, to be honest with you, because that was the only person I actually was interested in. However, and then, you know, you hear about Amryn and her now adjusting to her new form, because now she's in a Fae form. She's no longer... Yeah. So, essentially...
Also, why is there no psychologist? Like, you know, therapists. Why are there no therapists in... was it Perithian? It's just like a really needed job, but it doesn't exist. Everyone needs therapy.
I feel you're right. They do need therapy. And I feel the way we're going to break down this book is like some key points. So some for me that I'd like to kickstart off with is the book sort of begins, like Linda said, there's the winter solstice is coming, so they're preparing for a nice celebration. The snow is starting to fall. Everybody's just trying to figure out stuff, right? There's a treaty in the background, a discussion about how we're gonna have this new thing of peace, and but it doesn't really get talked about too much. It's just, you know, we're just setting up. So one thing I want to raise is Elaine seems to be coming in her element. That part I enjoyed. She seems to be talking more. She seems to be interacting more. And I thought, ooh, okay, I like this. I like seeing this.
Yeah, that's good. There's also a bit where, like, literally the first chapter, I'm like, what? Yep, nothing's happening. And then there is a bit where she says, oh, it's nearly a year since Reese had called in his bargain. And I'm like, what? So it's a year from the wedding? That's how much time has passed. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I feel like the timing, a lot of stuff has happened in the space of like a year.
Yeah, and I'm like, you got married, you did there's a battle, been 2 battles.
Well, she didn't quite get married to Tamlin, right?
No, but she got married to Reese.
But that didn't happen till...
Yes.
But that's not a year. That's not a year from when they got married. That's a year from when he asked... the Tamlin potential marriage.
So that's
that's really short. All of this has happened to the point she's like, I'm in love with you. Sure, the mate bond, okay, adds a certain element to it. I understand this. But we do know that the mate bond is much more potent with males and females, okay?
But like, okay, there's like a lot.
You got to go with it to an extent. Although I do think the timing
rushed into this. And I'm like, whoa. Okay.
But so they're doing this thing and
wait, could I just stop you for a moment? So when she says things like, Elaine is still grieving Grayson and all that, come on, girl, he doesn't love you, get over it.
It makes zero sense. Zero sense.
She cannot move on as fast as you bloody did, from another wedding to another wedding in a year and a whole war. Like, give the girl some chance. She is almost human.
This the thing is, what I know, it's like, hey, can you just hurry up and be Faye and just get on with your life? It's like, calm your titties. Like, it takes years for people to get over depression. Like, shut up. And the thing is, I get that I don't think Elaine, like, there's a point where Farah says to Lucian, like, Elaine was in love with him. And I go, no, she wasn't. She was in love with she had the idea of love, but she's more depressed because she's no longer human, and that was comfortable for her. So now she has to work on... She doesn't like being forced into a big switch. I mean, basically, you've said, hey, girl, you Faye now, and this guy's your guy. And she's like, whoa. I wasn't wooed. I hadn't courted this guy. I hadn't gone on dates. You've just told me this is the dude that I have to be with. Yeah, and then she's like, you haven't even give him a chance. Firstly, I think that's a fair point. that Elaine hasn't, but also it's Elaine's prerogative, considering she is probably still only going, I'm going to make a garden. I've now made stuff. And she's made friends with some of the servants. The servants in the night court, and they go, yeah, we really like her and we support her, and she's just Farrah's like, why aren't people on the same page as me? Because we're not all
next.
Can you imagine if someone said that to Farrah when she was going through all the PTSD?
Yeah, like, what is going on? That PTSD actually, like, that was like, wasn't it 3 months? And then she was like, yep, bye, let's get married.
That was a long time. It was a long time.
But,
well, I mean, in comparison to other stuff, but in this book it was considered a long time.
But yeah, so, like, oh, well. So yeah, I was just looking at a time scale and I was like, what the hell? Anyway, like, maybe this will be calm and people can kind of get over it. But yeah, it was just like, they're all like, yeah, let's get ready. We're haunted by the memories.
But remember, the big part is there's a studio for painting. And they say, Farrah, come and join us. We can do a paint class. And she's like, I don't know if I'm ready. And then Reese is like, if you're not, you're not. If you are, you are. Just go with the flow, baby. And she's like, I don't know what's going to come out of me. I could spill out. And I'm like, no one cares, Farrah. I don't care.
I think instead of going by chapter of this book, I think, yeah, like you were just saying, like, let's go character. Let's see what the characters are building. So yeah, Freya's like, yeah, it's my first winter solace. I hate my birthday. I'm going to go look for presents.
Oh yes, it's her birthday as well.
Oh yeah, but she's like, I'd go shopping. But they're all like, I don't feel like the money. I've got so much money in the world. But I just
my God.
It's just extravagant. And that's how she finds isn't it? She walks upon the studio and it's like abandoned. And she's like, it's a studio.
Also, can I just say it's another thing, because it's sort of an abandoned record studio that they want to like build up. And yes, you go, well, there was war and stuff, so it makes sense. And then the shade that they give Nesta. Oh, Nesta had to pick a really dumb, grungy area to live in. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Maybe she's comfortable with that. Why is that a problem for you? She's like, out of all the places she could have been, she had to pick that out in the middle of nowhere, and she gets all grungy. And I'm like, what's your problem?
It's her choice. And also, she's not you're paying for her rent, so maybe she's trying to do you a deal and be like, okay, you don't pay for it too much. This is the cheapest I could find, so you don't have to be
But also, maybe she wants to try and rejuvenate that area. Like, so we should just go, see the people that live in that? They're scum. We don't want that.
Yeah, and I was
That's what she's basically saying.
That is Freya. Freya was very thingy when she said, what was it? There was that scene where she goes to confront Nesta because Nesta doesn't want to come to Solstice. Which, at the point, if she don't want to come to Solstice...
Because she's still grieving. Her dad just died.
Yeah, nobody else seems to care. But yeah, that's fine. Like, don't force her. And she's like, I would really like it if you come. Like, why are you with these people? And I was like, they seemed all right. So we should just play the game.
And let's also establish the absolute, just staying on Nesta for a minute, that Amren and Nesta hang out, they chat, she knows a lot about her, and then Farrah's getting pissed about it.
Yeah, and she's just like, oh, will you tell her to come to... She was like, no, I don't want to. What do you talk about? I don't need to tell you anything.
I'm not telling you that.
Amren, could you?
Amren's a good friend. She's like, I'm not going to betray her trust. Like, if we have stuff in common, that's something we're going to talk about, and I'm not sharing that with you. And she's like, how dare you? I'm her sister. It's like, end.
Yeah, no. So I was kind of glad to Amren, who's like, no, I'm not. I don't need to tell you shit.
If I want to come, I'll come. And to be honest, you know, fair play to Nesta, that Nesta is kind of not really in this book at all. There's the only part that you hear about that Nesta is in an apartment in a sort of not so great area out in the night court. And she hasn't really seen anyone except for Amren, to our knowledge. And she comes on the day of... So it's really like Farrah's birthday that she comes for. Yeah. And she just sits there quiet and doesn't say anything.
And just watches.
And then she just says, happy birthday, and leaves. And then Cassian like freaking pounds out the door, and I was thinking, ooh, yay, what's gonna happen? And there's just nothing really happens, except for obviously there's some tension clearly that's been building there, because after their near-death experience together in the last, but I don't know why I'm air quoting it happened, and the near-death experience that they had, clearly from that there's something going on, like they've not decided to talk about it, or they're just being distant, and Cassian's like, can you just talk to me? And she's like, no, giving him the disgust look, get away from me, leave me alone, because obviously she's doing that classic thing of, I just want to be alone, and I don't want to burden people with my problems, so I'm just gonna do the classic, I hate everybody, and they'll probably leave me anyway. And then you only see a little point of view from Nesta, where she sort of sits in her room, thingies down the door, like her back, and falls, and just gets sad. So you know that, okay, she's going through some shit. That's literally it about Nesta.
She knows he's there. He's like watching her from the window or something, and she knows that
the
he's
lights.
There.
Yeah, because she's not switched off the lights.
And she's just like, I'm just going to turn off my light so he knows I've gone, but like I'm not. But she wants him there, and she knows he's there, but she just like, and I didn't get any much information other than that, and I was like, oh come on, and then he throws the present in the, and I was like, what was the present? What was the present?
Yeah, he throws the gift because he's just.
It took a month to find, and I was like,
and you're just kind of like, that's the story. I would have, and I get they want to leave it for this next book, but there was just, it was very. I'll tell you what the main thing this book was about: Farah painting again, Rhysand,
Rhysand was doing. He was just like, Rhysand was very behind the scenes.
He was just chatting what's happening, and then at the very end of this book they just sort of make the decision, let's not take the contraception potion, whatever, so they're about to try for a baby. Boom, that's it.
That's also sudden. You're just like, literally, give yourselves a break, okay? Try.
Yeah, war's just finished.
Other problems to deal with this. You have got a whole lot of people. Like, you need to get your control. Like, you need to help your sister. You need to help, like, the treaties of the war or whatever is it, allies. Like no, not
humans, the
time. If you're but it's like Freya and like Rhysand, and they're like,
Farah and Rhysand are just not messing about. They're like, we go now and we go hard, and that's it.
By the third child, they're gonna get bored and get divorced because they're like, we've done everything. It happened like 3
No, there'll
years.
be like another war. There'll be like another war, and then they'll be like, oh, we need to come together. So, another topic I wanted to. I felt that was the most interesting character that happened in this was Tamlin.
Tam.
Can we talk about Tam?
For Tam, actually, like, he's in the Depression era, and I was like only Lucian's one that's one to kind of help him.
Abandoned by everyone.
Well, no, not Lucian. Like, he does.
Yeah, but there's no one there. He's answering the door himself. His hair's all messed up. He looks like a bum. Now, okay. The problem is we have to remember that Tamlin locked her up and didn't really care. Taxed people when he shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. He also just beat Lucian down and said, it's mine or way or the highway. Then he brought in Ianthe, or she smuggled, or allowed her to smuggle in. However, you could kind of say that it wasn't entirely him, because the twins infiltrated his mind, and she was on the side of Highburn, and they were involved with Highburn. So maybe he was manipulated a little bit on that side of it, and then put forward her sisters. Now, okay, and I'm willing to be. I'm just argued with or told, don't be stupid. Is this, but because I haven't read the next book, so I don't know if they're really going to go into it anymore. But for What I would like to know is the decision for Tamlin to bring on Hybern into the Spring Court and have Ianthe convince Tamlin to put forward her two sisters. Well, actually, did he know about that? Or was
No, he didn't. He he helped the King of Hybern, but he didn't know that he was going to bring her two sisters as collateral, like damage, he didn't know about that. And she thought, oh, no, you did. And he was like, no, I was helping, like, to find you, but I didn't know that he was going to bring your sisters so that you would do the thing he's asking you to do.
But then I suppose he didn't go back to Hybern and say, how could you do this? Like, that was so unjust. But then my argument is for his acceptance of Hybern and moving on with Ianthe and the fact that she'd put forward her sisters. Was he manipulated into doing that? Because they were messing with his head and he kept having headaches. So I'm not trying to give him an out. I'm just trying to say, I think if we think of the cases that Tamlin was just a bit of a prick and he was a bit of a control freak and he was just they were in a very toxic relationship.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But let's say, for argument's sake, that he was actually controlled by Hybern when it came to his involvement with them and that. I don't really think he deserved his entire kingdom crumbling to the ground. I definitely think he deserved a kick in the balls for it and there being some...
Like, why is nobody else like taking the Spring Court off him then? Nobody's like, well, that's what you do. Like, you take... Someone's just like, no, you were an asshole. I'm going to take over.
Yeah, like a mutiny.
Yeah, I'm going to take it. And everybody's like, yay. Like, that's the rebellion.
That's what I anticipated would happen, that essentially somebody would then usurp him and take over. And then they'd say, Tamlin, you can stay doing your thing, but you're no longer the High Lord of the Spring Court. But this feels... I can't help it. I feel really bad for Tamlin in this book. I actually, like, Rhysand was like, I don't feel bad for him. And I get it, why he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But, the last moment that he sees Rhysand and he said the door didn't open and there was like an elk on the kitchen table just bleeding out and he was just staring into the distance, just completely out of it. I was like... Man, I don't think Tamlin deserves... I think he deserves... It's not that he doesn't deserve to get hurt. I just don't think that should have been how it ends for him.
Yeah, I think it's...
Considering in the last book, he said, be happy, Farah. He didn't force her or anything.
No, and he saved Rhysand. And he saved her.
And he saved her.
Yeah, so he still loves her, but, I didn't really get the whole, like, down and out thing. I'm sure like some people would have stayed. Like, why is the whole entire Spring Court gone? I just think there would be people like
that's how much power she had to completely mess up the set. And she's like, I don't feel bad for what annoys me is that, okay, put Tamlin aside for a second. She goes, I don't feel bad for what happened to the Spring Court. I probably will never feel bad for it. And I go, it's not just about Tamlin. It's about the entirety of an entire population that lives there. You fucked it for them. She's like, I don't feel bad for it.
I know, like everybody else. No, you should feel bad. What about those poor, like, I bet those like the swamp monsters that saved her and like Ardianta, I bet are like, yeah, she's a bitch. Like, what about her home? Run out of fish now, haven't I?
Yeah, they could. That's what I mean. I will say this is what I call the shoddy masonry work of Sarah J Maas in that sense of it, because you kind of need to explain why is he there on his own and everybody's just left. What, they've all gone to the different courts? Like, everyone? Like, nobody decided to go, I'm going to usurp you. There's not really an understanding of the High Lords. It's like the High Lords are the High Lords and that's it. Is it? Are we sure? Because Amarantha came and said, I'm the queen now, so I don't think that's necessarily true.
I feel like he's going to abdicate or something and just live like a quiet life in the country or something.
I think that would give him some time to, structure his mind and go, oh yeah, I realized what I did. I was in a toxic relationship. I've had therapy, but no, we're all just going to be these weird people with a dead elk and then pissing all over Tamlin. I just don't think that's, because not only that, but like Lucien is like, and Lucien's a bit pissed off with Farah as well.
That was Lucien's
and
home.
he's like, I don't have a home now.
I was really pissed off at that conversation that, Lucien turned up for Solstice and that whole interaction with Freya and Lucien, and I was just like,
I don't like Farah.
I know Lucien's done some things that are wrong, and maybe he's not stood up and stuff, but he's trying to find his way in the world, and she's like, no, you're part of the Night Court posse. Come on, stop, shut up and just join us. And he's like, no, I don't want to be.
I know, she's forcing him. He's like, I do not identify with this court. I do not want to be here. And she's like, and I get what she's saying, you aren't part of the Spring Court. But maybe we can make a new Spring Court. Maybe it doesn't have to be what it was.
Yeah.
But if he feels that he doesn't identify with any of the courts, and don't even get me started on, because then what Lucien's saying is he hangs out with Vasa and Jurian, and they call themselves the sort of rejects, or they haven't. What do they call them?
The band
I call them the rejects. Yeah. But I mean, I'm all right with that. Sort of, they have no identity with a court. And I just go...
They get on.
She's like, why are you hanging out with Vasa and Jurian? Why would you even hang with them? What's wrong with this woman? Farah, get stuffed.
If that's what he wants to do and that makes him happy, you should be you're not going to be there. She's going to be off anyway, go and do her own weird painting stuff. So, let him do
I don't get it. I don't get it. And you're just like, you don't need to get it. You just need to go, if that's how you feel, then yeah. I'm like, where's the Farah from A Court of Mist and Fury? Because I hate this Farah.
Yeah, she was very mean to Lucien. He was just trying to say that I've come all this way. I've brought you and Elaine. He's kind of stayed. I know Elaine didn't want anything to do with him. Stayed his distance, and he was just like, okay, I brought you a present to say thank you and celebrate with you, but I'm not staying here. I'm going back to...
Because he knows she doesn't want him. She doesn't want him. And Lucien hates that. He can't control that, but he goes, I know she doesn't want me. So why will I stay here if, she hates me? But he will obviously give her a gift and things, but let him be. Jeez. And then, he even comes to, hang out with Lucien and there's that moment where Rhys is like, yeah, I always knew Tamlin's temper with his downfall, and then Tamlin doesn't get angry. He just stops.
No, he doesn't. He just seems really remorseful and stuff like that. And
yeah, so you're like, let the guy, but he's alone. He has no one.
And it's been really short. It's been the next month. They just had a war. It's been 1 month. And let everybody recover. But no one goes to the speed of Rhys and Freya. Woo,
no!
Let's baby. Let's buy a house. Oh yeah, they bought family houses.
Oh, they bought a house, didn't they? It was at the house of... Which house was it?
I don't know, some riverside house.
Anyway, they buy a house, and she's like, oh my God, but it's too much, and the money, and the oh my God. And I just went, shut up, Farah.
Just you're doing this so fast, oh my God, I can't keep up how fast you're buying a house and having a baby and blah 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 blah. And I was like, what?
But
nobody does this year.
The saddest thing for me, I really did feel for Tamlin, and I get it. There are things that he did that are unforgivable, but I think considering war, considering everything that's happened, yes, time is necessary, but I feel that he deserves, to feel the things, but it's just, I think the way it's happened is a bit much, but it's kind of, I just think if he was alone in that and people abandoned him, yeah, but the fact that the entirety of the Spring Court is just non-existent is just, I don't get that.
It's not realistic either. I'm like,
it's not realistic. So I wasn't down for that. Anyway, what other characters should we move to discuss?
So, can we just discuss what the hell is going on with Moore? Everybody keeps saying that, she's doing this, special thing and she needs to...
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you.
About it. Nobody talks about it.
no one gives a shit because no one cares about Moore and she needs to just die. Okay, that's my point on it.
That's a bit harsh.
You remember my reaction to the last book about her.
Okay,
I hate her guts and I don't care about her. And if she's having some whoop-de-doo relationship with this, what is her name? Ellie something.
No, Ellie is the horse. So
she's having a romantic relationship with a horse.
No, that's her horse. So yeah, she's been told to like go. She's going to be a special convoy. She's upset between the whole thing with Eris and her dad again, and she's just upset about that. Like, I'm thinking, just take some time out, okay? It'll be all right. Like, just follow
guns, so yeah,
just follow the therapy of Reese and Fair. And anyway, she's upset about that, but then she gets told, "Oh, you should be a special convoy and through all the different courts." And I was like, actually, yes, that is a good idea, Reese, because that's what you should have done first hand, like start building relationships. Okay. So good idea. She's like, yeah, but I'll miss everyone. But now I know my purpose is to meet everyone else. I'm like, all right then, good, cool. And then it keeps on just being really secretive, like very secretly, because nobody knows where I'll be between. Like, yeah, like the last chapter of the war was like, nobody knows where I'll be between like after solstice and before my convoy things start. And she's at this ranch that she has, and then she sees something in the darkness.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is it? And I was like, is that Bray Access? Is that like?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was Briaxis, because she goes, "There's nothing except there between a snarl of thorns, a patch of darkness. It did not move, did not seem to do anything but linger and watch." So I was like, "Is that?" She's like, "Not like Azrael's shadows twining and whispering, something different." So I was thinking it was Briaxis or a new character. I'm not sure.
Surreal.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? But we know that's probably not going to happen.
Oh, I'm still holding out for like the point of view of the next book to be the Furial's Homecoming. Hey guys.
I'm interested about Cassian, learning more about him. It sounds like we find out a little bit about his mother.
That was awful. I felt so bad about that. I'm glad he burnt down the whole village. I was yeah, Cassian. That's a good side of him. Then there was that weird bit where he went into the shop and he met that girl and there was like a moment between them, and I was like, is this a romance or is this sort of like we're all like
it kind of hinted at like some romantic thing, but I think what it was trying to do was her expressions were similar to Nesta, and he fancies Nesta and he sees Nesta all the time, and she reminded him certain things all like Nesta because her father, it was her father's shop, and that he was his only heir, so she took the shop. But it's kind of improper to have a woman running the shop, so he sort of sees himself as an outcast, and I think it was just a moment in the story to see these two people feeling like we get it, we understand being outcasts a little bit, like, and that's all that story was, I think. And then I feels like you can sense he's in a lot of pain, but you don't really go into it too much, and he's hiding a lot from Reese. Only other thing was the side of Azrael. We didn't really get his exact point of view, but it was just him saying, again, very secretive, not really sure what's going on there with Azrael.
Yeah, he kept a lot of things like, you know, how they were saying, oh, there's like people kind of saying bad things about like the Night Court after the war, and I'm not going to tell Cassian because it'll just upset him and he needs a break. And I was like, okay, you remember how this didn't work before, Azrael?
Remember how you don't tell him shit? That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, remember you didn't tell more shit about like Eris turning up and how that worked out, and then like I was just like, oh god, like, and then you were like upset for like weeks about that, and now I was like, you're gonna do this again, right? Okay, so I don't know. Azrael's just a bit like.
There's also the whole Azrael Elaine thing. Now I don't see it. Actually, this book confirmed to me. I don't see it as romantic. I see it more as him being a brother, sister.
A big brother, yeah. I think he's more like a protector, a big brother thing, because I say that too. He's more like just protecting her.
Yeah, I think he's like sees her as a bit of a maybe similar situation to him, and she, we should wait till everyone sits at the table, and then Cassian's like, okay, whatever. And that's it. There's nothing really more to grasp on there.
No, there wasn't anything about Asriel, there was hardly anything. So I was a bit I don't know anything more about his backstory. I mean, we did go quite a lot in the third one, so I was like, okay. But
yeah,
it sends them on to missions to collect information about the rival clans, and I'm like, okay, that's what he's doing.
And that's it. That's all you know. That's it. He doesn't show up again. Done.
Yeah, and Rhys we need to talk about solstice morning. What the tradition is on solstice morning. Cassie and Asriel take Rhys away.
Yeah, and then
to a mountain where they decide to have a snowball fight.
Oh my God.
And I was like, where are they going? Because there's all that thing where she's like seeing Freya's point of view and stuff like that, and she does that fight with Lucian, and we're like, oh, they've gone somewhere, right? Maybe they've gone something nice. But
nope, they've just gone to be children.
Yeah, they didn't. I did not stick to a snowball fight, a snowball sports.
That's right. I do you know what was weird? I have no issue with them having a snowball fight because I get it. They're just trying to have some fun and whatever, and try to be little kids again. But I think this book was very random. I'll say that. It was here's something. It wasn't consistent in the sense of, for example, you could say, they've gone through such struggles with the war, and it's nice for him to feel like he's got his friends back again, and I hope that they can feel like children again. And then that gets implied in the book to then later we see that, I saw them play snowball fight, and then it's do you know what I mean? There's something guiding you to the snowball fight rather than, I saw an abandoned building, I painted, possibly, I'm not sure yet, and why isn't Nesta maybe not coming, and Elaine needs to get over Grayson, and Lucian, what the F is your problem, and I'm going to get myself all dressed up, I think. Oh, what's that? Oh, snowball fight.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, do you want to go more? Was it? Yeah, it ends with oh, she has a fight with Elaine. That's why she's like, maybe Elaine. And you were like, just leave it there. Just leave it, leave Elaine alone about the whole mate issue with Lucian. Maybe you could try and be nice to him. No, Freya, shut up. And then she goes to Mor, and Mor's like, maybe just stay out of it. Thank you, Mor.
Yeah, that was the only time I was like, Mor, you're useful for something.
Yeah, and then she's like, where have they gone? Do you want to come see? And then she takes her to the cabin in the woods. Oh, no, the cabin in the mountains, sorry. Yes. Where she does those awful paintings of the eyes. And then she's like, oh, yeah, they're playing snowballs in the mountain.
You're like, oh, great. Okay. I have to say, just going back to that Elaine moment, there's a point where, what was I going to say?
Oh, where she has the fight with Elaine in the kitchen. Because she has a fight with, Lucian. And then Freya's like, yeah, I'm not done. I'm going into the kitchen and being like to Elaine, why are you not being nice to Lucian? You could at least talk to him. And she's like, I don't want a mate and I don't want a male. I don't want anyone.
I think it was the first time I've actually seen Elaine stand up for herself and go, no, just leave me alone. I don't want that. I don't want this. And also, can I just say, they haven't even discussed what happened to them in the cauldron. That's never been brought up again.
What has happened in the cauldron? How do they get their powers? Was time different? I don't know.
But Farah doesn't even ask. Maybe let's sit down. Let's talk about what you feel has happened now. You're talking and you're doing gardening. Maybe this is a good time to talk about it. I know it's really hard, but I just want to understand from your side of it. Because Elaine's a little bit easy maybe to open up to, and then if you do that, maybe Nesta will feel encouraged to do it. But no, she's just like, why are you doing these things? And why aren't they happening now? Because, Farah, people will need to do shit and take time. That's why.
Why is no one listening to me? This is what I want to do. And I was like, whoa, no, Freya. No, that's not your life. That's Elaine's life. Let her be and to deal with things. And she goes into I just have a bit of a thing with, she's like going into Lucian's life, Elaine's life. She's gone into Nesta's and said, yeah, you're living in a crappy place. Come on, get out of it.
Leave her alone. And it's so funny when she gives her the rent. And I'm like,
bribe.
Bitch, you could have done that in a much tasteful way. Instead of doing it as she's leaving the door on winter solstice, why didn't you just like send it to her house? Do you know what I mean? Or have picked any other day than do it on this day. Why?
Yeah, then give it to her at the door where everybody was looking and say, oh yeah, thanks, I bribed you to come here. Bye.
And then she went like this and took it. And she's just like, yeah, I know I have to take it because I'm now reliant again on Farah. And maybe that's a hark back to her going, we were relying on you when we were in the cabin and stuff. But it's like Nesta says, you know, when she's having that moment with Cassie, she's like, I don't want this life. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't even want to be here. Like, she's struggling to think, what the F is she meant to do here? Like, what on earth is going on? And I don't blame her.
Yeah, what does she want to do? Like, she's still figuring it out, Freya. Just leave her be. All right, so we've done all, I think the main, we didn't do Amren. But I just felt
one thing I respected Amren for saying was there is a moment where Elaine and Amren are chatting, and Amren, I think somebody asks a question, and Elaine responds back to her, are you asking me in the future, or are you asking me to see the future, or are you asking me just life thing? And Amren sort of hits back, you can't go back to being human.
Yeah, she's
like,
still
it's not going to happen. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And you just went, oh, yeah, you do, Elaine. You think that maybe there's a way for you to revert back into a human, but it's not going to happen. So
yeah, Amren's like sort of like the truth, the mirror. That's kind of like, yeah. But even like when Nesta came in for the solstice, and she's like, oh, got a skinny ass girl, like scrawny ass.
Yeah, she's like, you've lost weight like that. And but I think what's funny is Nesta sort of smiles because she's like, there's no bullshit with Amren. She's just going to tell you how it is. See. And she doesn't, I think the harshness of Amren fits well with her. That she is, nobody's trying to coddle her or try to be like, well, let's try and talk. It's just like, she just goes, well, this is it. And she's probably got through to Nesta more by being like that.
She needs to be a bit more thingy with Freya. I think it was good that she said all that stuff when she came to visit her flat about Nesta, but I think she needs to be a bit more strict with Freya and be like, no, I'm not having taken this bullshit, whatever. But apart from that, we didn't get that much about Amren. We just knew that, like, is it Varian? Or was...
Oh, yeah, she said, oh, well, Varian's probably coming, and that's it, and don't ask questions. Done. Yeah, and then she's talking about peeing a lot. She needs to pee.
Oh, yeah. And Varian's got a load of jewels. Everybody actually got a whole load of jewels. So she's like, yay. Awesome. Cool.
She's like, great. I'm having a presents were just some gifts that were inconsequential, really.
Yeah, a lot of like, apart from, everybody got like jewels and stuff, apart from Freya, who was just like, I've painted the horrors of my life, and now I have given them as gifts to my friends. Yeah,
and then what's insane is Reese takes it. The one that she said is supposed to be like the Ouroboros mirror, and he's like, "It's so beautiful. I love it all." And I'm like, "Reese, get to, just get to." Do you know what I mean?
Like, he is like, Frey can do no wrong. He's like totally
whip. There's a moment in this book I just want to read out where she says, Elaine is telling Farah, Nesta said she didn't want to come to Stolz's. She's like, that's fine. She said she didn't want to come to anything, ever. Yeah. And then that's when Farah's like, did she say why? And then Elaine's like, no, she said that we have our lives and you have yours. And she said to say that to me is fine, but to Elaine... You know, and then she just goes, I'm going to talk to her. And then Elaine just goes, don't. She won't listen. And then internal monologue by Farah is like, hell she wouldn't. It's like, yeah, because that's going to work, Farah. Come on. And she's like,
And Reese is just like, I'll come with you. Yay. And like, he's sort of like, I feel a bit like Reese was like this, like, you know, main character male who was like defending the world and stuff. And he's been like completely relegated to like a side wingman to Freya.
He is. He's
And
kind
I'm
of
like,
just, Farah is now the High Lady, runs it all, and Reese is just like, do you want some help?
yeah. And I was like, no. Like, this is not how you're supposed to put it. You're supposed to be like on a par with each other, like, or like you're supposed to be this amazing, like, High Lord. And that if anybody pushes you, like, you kill them, or like you stand up for everybody. But now he's just like,
he's like a whipped man. He's no longer kind of.
He went in that cauldron and like killed him. It came back out. It's just like, is everybody having a good time? You could have my wine. It's okay. Like, if someone had been drinking his wine, the Cassian Azrael, he would have just like whipped their asses and went like, get out of my freaking wine stack. It's okay. I've got some wine.
I know.
Reese, like, when will he go back to being number 1 and number 2 books?
I know, and that's not going to happen because we know that the next book is on Nesta and Cassian, which I'm very much appreciative of because these two are done now. To be honest, this book, essentially just the key things to take from it is that there's still people saying, I'm not sure the Night Court are good people because they got a bunch of Valerian soldiers killed. I don't think they can run it properly. The borders aren't being secured in Tamlin's area because Tamlin has been completely effed by Farah's sabotage from the last book. Yeah, and so the Summer Court's going to apparently help put guards there because Reese was saying, I will send my Night Court guards, and Tamlin was like, quite rightly so, get stuffed, Reese. You're not invading my lands. So I don't know if Tarquin is discussing that with Tamlin or not. I feel quite sad for Tamlin, and he is very remorseful. Elaine is starting to get her own voice back. Azriel's doing what Azriel does. Moore is doing some weird stuff on the side. We don't really know.
No idea what's
and Cassian's just feeling very sad, but
he's
pretending he's all okay. He's a brute. He's fine, but he's not. And Farah's getting lots of jewels and painting again, and then teaching kids how to paint at the end, and then deciding with Reese that, let's not take contraception. Let's have sex, and it's a very hot, sexy scene, and we'll hopefully have a child at some point. And Nesta is very depressed and doesn't really want to hang out with anybody, but likes talking to Amren. And Amren doesn't really like her body too much because she has to pee and eat differently than she used to. And that's the book.
Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. There's like, oh, we had a party. Everyone drank some wine. Everyone presents. And yeah, we're good. Oh, we better get back to it now. Fixing the world. And I'm like, okay, what's happened with the humans? Are the humans okay? Like, behind the wall?
I don't know.
Like, they're okay? Where are the queens? Did anybody go find... Did anybody find Bryaxis? Did anybody find Bryaxis? What's going on there? Nope. Oh, no. Okay. Lots of questions there.
Yeah, and there's the whole Vasa.
So to Hybern, did somebody else take that over? Were they thinking, like, is someone else going to continue the plans of Hybern, or are we sure they're dead?
Well, all of those questions are completely relevant and should absolutely, hopefully be answered in this book, which is... Which number is this?
Number 5.
Number 5, which is the last book released currently before she brings out her new books.
Court of Everyone Needs Therapy.
Yeah, a Court of Everyone Needs Therapy. So that's ours pretty much finished with Court of Frost and Starlight. So that's our sum up of this book. But before we discuss what's happening next, how many goblins? And did it make it through the labyrinth, Linda?
No, you don't have to ask me that. Like it did not make it through the labyrinth. It stopped at the first hurdle. Like
it got to the worm, and then the worm went that, and then it just returned. That's it.
I was really kind of like, right, okay. you know, like, right, let me just get these words out. So, number one, yeah, this is Freya. She's a human, and she turns into a fae, blah, blah, blah. But number two, yeah, she falls in love with this, instead of the blonde one, she's falling in love with the dark-haired one, and she's kind of how, like, you know, like the High Lady or something. Number three, there's a big battle. I'll stick with it, but, like, you know, we're learning about different courts and her sisters. Number three, I don't understand why this is. Oh, sorry, number four. I'm like, I don't understand. What? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. It was like halfway through. It's just like, let's do a Christmas Hallmark movie. This is it. And actually, like, I didn't like the ending either. I was like, oh, okay. How are we gonna get to the next bit? What's gonna happen? Like, I don't. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and then this was just like, here, just read this for a bit, and then be distracted. And I'm like, what? I didn't need this. Didn't need it.
This book wasn't needed. It's kind of, I agree with you. I don't think we needed it. What we needed was just for her to go, just forget about this and just concentrate on this. And I mean, look at the size of this thing.
It's like,
and I'm referring to the follow-up book, which is A Court of Silver Flames. So just in terms of comparing the sizes, A Court of Frost and Starlight is only about 200 or so pages, whereas A Court of Silver Flames, the next one that we'll go on to, is approximately 700 something pages. So just don't bother with the 200 one.
No. People said I had to read this because, you know, I had to learn about stuff for the next one. Okay, I'll keep that on board. But has Freya just, like, retired? And she's like, I've retired from my whole life battle era, and I am now going to be a painter and a homemaker. The end. And I'm like, right, okay, look to someone else.
I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be apparent in the next book, but I'm guessing that was the closure of saying we're done with Farah and Rhys. We're now moving on to Nesta and Cassian. I don't know. Is that what's happening here? Possibly.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, this is their happy ending.
It
They're gonna have
like
a baby. She's opened a studio. Rhys is all happy. He's well whipped, and that's it now. Goodbye.
To be honest, I tell you what, I probably would have liked this if I still enjoyed Rhys and Farah. But for me personally, the last book really ruined my relationship with Farah. It started off real good and then plummeted. And I started to very much dislike her. And Rhys was just pussy whipped consistently with whatever she wanted to do. Yeah, instead of there being a sort of side-by-side alliance as was seen in Mist and Fury. So then reading that book, I was like, I don't care. I'm interested in the other characters. So yeah, I'm with you. So how many goblins?
I give it 2, and I don't know if I'm being generous. Am I being generous?
I gave it 2 as well, but yeah, it's fine. It's a 2 goblins is fine. So yeah, so we are giving this 2 goblins because we don't think it's very useful or much happens in it, and I kind of found it kind of pointless, to be honest with you, I'm afraid. But I know we're not the only ones that thought that, as I've discussed with some other people. So so next week we are going to talk about another book, which is our finally coming to the end of our ACOTAR series for now, until she releases more books, of course. And that book is
A Court of Silver Flames. I'm not sure what that picture is. Some kind of
that was my question. So can you describe what is on the front cover of this book?
It's another mask. Is this going to go back? Are we going to go back to Amarantha sticking on the kinky masks again to everybody?
Well, it is interesting. It's another mask again. So,
Is this like, are they going to find the spell that Amarantha had and make everybody wear masks again for the rest of the court? I don't want to go back to this king thing.
I would also like not to go back to the mask, but it feels... Unless it's a different kind of mask, maybe. I'm not sure. Because, well, yeah, God, hopefully not. So yeah, there's a mask on front of this. A Court of Silver Flames. I'm not sure what the Silver Flames are. Perhaps it's a Nesta power that we are not aware of. Maybe she can emit some...
Boom. Ooh, but if you open it, I'm not reading it yet, but look, the map. is a lot better.
Yes,
It's
so
so
the
pretty.
map, which is on the front page, is a little bit more detailed. However,
Prettier.
it now shows us where the Illyrian mountains are, the Illyrian steeps at the very top of the United Kingdom, as we like to call this map, because
Yeah.
it does look like the UK.
Yeah.
So we've got the Night Court in Scotland, Day Court in sort of lower part of Scotland.
Day Court, yeah.
Day Court, the Weaver's Cottage.
Stone Court just has palace. Palace of what? Just palace.
Just palace. But the wall is still there, and I thought the wall had come down, so I'm a little confused about that, not gonna lie.
So
and then Pharaoh's...
Like, the Weaver's dead, man. Is the Weaver dead?
Well, unless Weaver sewed itself back together after the Naga wolves ate it, or whatever ate it, I forget.
Yeah.
Highburn is still there, but we also see more on the other side of the map, the right side of the map, where it says about the fairy realms and Valahan, Montessera. There's a wall there to the mortal lands.
Oh yeah, they've got a wall.
Quite
when they destroyed the wall, did they destroy all walls, or is that wall still going? I don't know.
It's a little bit unclear, I would say, from this map, for sure.
All walls still going? I don't know. But
unless they've rebuilt them.
But yeah, so we're finding a little bit more about the world. Maybe this is it then. We'll find out more about what's going to happen in this world.
Yeah. So, well, join us for that. We're going to start on A Court of Silver Flames now.
Yeah.
So please join us in reading or rereading this book on our Fable Book Club. We will discuss our first section of these chapters, but first of all, we need to tell you which chapters they will be. So we're going to obviously start from the beginning up until...
I think we should go from like chapter 1 to chapter 9, like stop at chapter 9, because I am a slow reader. So yes. So you read up to chapter 8, read chapter 8, and then we'll reconvene, because these are some pretty large chapters actually.
They're pretty chunky. We're getting into it, but I am very much hoping to be hopefully excited by this book, because I was, unfortunately, me personally, I was very disappointed with the last book. And if you want to know why, please just listen to our podcast episodes, because it will be very clear why
this happened. But yeah, join us next time to find out more about A Court of Silver Flames. Read along and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or subscribe to our YouTube channel to find out more. Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. And bye.